Jen, and thank you so much for checking out my channel, Your Best Work Life. If you are looking for a new job, looking to get promoted, maybe want to make more money or advance in your career, you are absolutely in the right place. So make sure to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And check out my website, liveyourbestworklife.com. I have more videos, resources, resume writing tips, tons of free things there, so definitely check it out. If this video is helpful today, please be sure to like and share it with anyone else who might find it helpful. And if you have questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments below. Happy to answer, and I'd love to hear from you. Today, we're going to talk about job seeker pet peeves. I have worked with job seekers for well over a decade, and there's a handful of things that just drive me absolutely crazy. So wanted to share those with you today. Hopefully they will help you in avoiding these things as you go about applying for new jobs, writing your resume, or approaching the interview process. Let's dive into it. Number one, lack of professionalism. Now, I know every industry, every company, every job is a little bit different in terms of how casual or laid back it is compared to a buttoned-up financial institution or professional organization. So certainly there is some room for some variance here depending on the opportunity that you're interviewing for. But when you are approaching applying for a new job, interviewing with someone you've never met before, or representing yourself to an organization you're interested in working for, please present yourself in a professional manner. Make sure you're communicating professionally and that you're putting your best foot forward. When you approach the interview process, you really should be displaying the best of yourself. And if you don't do that, likely the expectation or the assumption on the interviewing side or the hiring manager side is that this is the best that we're going to get. So if we don't love it, we probably shouldn't hire this person. So just a little bit of perspective there. Really be professional. Just set yourself up in the best light possible. Make a good first impression. It will really carry you through and go a long way. As you develop relationships, you can get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more casual, but it's never a bad idea to just put on a little bit more professional polish, especially when you're approaching an interview process or applying for a new job. Number two pet peeve of mine are grammatical errors. This can be in a resume, especially. This drives me absolutely crazy. Again, your resume is your first impression on paper, your LinkedIn profile. That's your digital resume and out there for everybody to see. Please make sure there's no grammatical errors. If you are applying for a job, if you are emailing a hiring manager, proofread, proofread, proofread. Grammatical errors are a little thing that are easy to overlook, but they really can hinder the evaluation of your communication skills, your professionalism, your attention to detail. It can really say a lot of negative things. So it's one of those things that having really nice, well-written emails and good grammar and communication really can just be that cherry on top. But if it's something that you don't do well, it can really hurt you in the interview process and how you're being considered for that job. So please keep that in mind. Number three, lack of questions. This drives me nuts too, because if you are applying for a new job, it is just that. It is a new job. There should be things that you are curious about or you have questions about. Even if it's within your same company, there should be questions that you have. And certainly if you're moving organizations, you're looking at a new industry, a completely new profession, maybe you're relocating to a different state, there have to be questions that you have. Even if you're staying within a similar department within your company, but you're going to be reporting to a different manager, they have a different management style, they maybe have different team communication. So there are always questions that you can ask. So please give that some thought before every single interview. And even if you're in an interview and they've answered every question that you had, think of something. It really goes a long way. It shows your interest, it shows that you're engaged, it shows that you're prepared and you've given it some thought. So I can't speak highly enough of having some good, intelligent questions prepared before every single interview, and always have some backups just in case they address everything that you had planned to ask prior to that particular conversation. Number 4, no preparation. This drives me crazy. If you are going into an interview, you knew in advance that that interview was scheduled, unless they are calling you completely on the fly because they came across your resume or happen to catch you and want to dive right into a phone interview, there is no excuse to not be prepared. After you apply for a position, make sure you've done a little bit of research on that company, the job requirements. If you know who the hiring manager is, definitely try to take a peek at who they are, but make sure you are prepared. That is going to be an expectation going into any kind of interview. They're going to expect that you've taken a little bit of time to at least look at their website or read through the job description. So if you haven't done that, you can just count yourself out for the opportunity in most cases. So please take the time to be prepared. If you want this company to consider hiring you and paying you a paycheck, make sure that you're prepared for that interview. Number 5, lack of urgency or follow-up. This is another thing. If you're looking for a new job, sometimes you have to hustle a little bit. And if you get a response to an application or an interview request, make sure you are getting back to them in a timely manner. In many cases, or in most cases, if a company has an open position, there is a reason for that, right? They have a gap, they have a need, they need to bring someone onto their team. And especially if they have a high sense of urgency, you better believe that they're going to be considering candidates who are showing that same hustle, showing that responsiveness, because that's going to be interpreted as interest, and that you're engaged, that you really want this opportunity. So make sure you have a sense of urgency and make sure you follow up. After every step, have a thank you note, make sure you're following up to check in on where they are in the process with other candidates. Again, it's gonna speak volumes about you and your professionalism, your follow-up, your follow-through, and show them that you really are serious as a candidate and want this job. Number 6, not following directions. This also drives me crazy. It's a very simple thing to do. And everything throughout the application and interview process is typically part of the interview process. It is usually there for a reason, for them to measure how well you follow directions. Do you follow through? Do you respond? Are you paying attention to the details and the little things that they're asking you to do throughout that interview process? Again, the interview process, you're supposed to be on your best behavior, so to speak. So if you can't follow directions or have attention to detail then, they're not going to expect you to be able to do it later. So really keep that in mind. Number 7, lack of flexibility. This is important, and I know especially if you are working and you're trying to find a better job, a new opportunity for whatever your motivations might be, this can be difficult to make yourself available for interviews, but really give this some thought. Try to figure out how can you make yourself available early in the morning, in the evenings, on your lunch break. A lot of people are working from home now. Maybe you can do a Skype interview or a Zoom. So just give some thought. If you are serious about interviewing and finding a new job opportunity, make sure you have a way to make yourself available for those interviews. If they can't interview you, they can't consider you for the position. All right, let's quickly recap these 7 job seeker pet peeves that you should absolutely avoid. Number 1, lack of professionalism. Number 2, grammatical errors in your resume, your applications, your emails, anywhere. No grammatical errors. Number 3, lack of questions. Make sure you have questions for every single interview. Show your interest, show you're engaged. Number 4, no preparation. Don't let that be you. Make sure you are prepared for every conversation and every interview. Number 5, lack of urgency and follow-up. You have to show urgency throughout the interview process so that they know that you're serious and that you're interested, and you have to follow up after every single interview. Again, you're competing against several other applicants. Make sure that they know that you want it and that you're serious and that you're engaged, and it will help you in the interview process. Number 6, not following directions. Please make sure that you are reading every little detail of emails, of applications, whatever they're asking you to do. Make sure you are reading through it in detail, not skipping any steps, and following the directions. It's all part of the interview process. And number 7, lack of flexibility. If you want a new job, you have to make yourself available to interview, and you have to be responsive. So make sure you've given that some thought and you have a strategy before you start actively interviewing so that you're not finding companies are interested in you, but you're not available to actually speak with them. I hope these tips were helpful for you. So get out there, find a new job that you love, and if you have questions, leave them in the comments. And if this was helpful, please be sure to like and share, and don't forget to subscribe so you see all my latest videos. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you guys next time.